Good evening, everybody, or I guess depending on what time zone you're in, it might be a completely different time of day, but welcome. Welcome. I'm sure most of you who are here are familiar with these Heal guided meditations or guided sessions. I do sound baths on Wednesday evenings. My name is Mark DeNicola. I'm part of the Heal team. Welcome. I see plenty of people signing on. I'm not going to get into anything too deep after the first minute here, just to give everyone a second, but if I could just have someone give me a quick thumbs up or a yes, just to let me know that the audio is coming through clearly. That's the most important thing, so I'm not just talking to nobody. So if I could just get a comment on that. But other than that, welcome. Thank you for being here. This is our usual Wednesday night guided session or offering to our community completely for free. I got a thumbs up. That's all I need. Thank you so much. A couple of yeses. Thank you all. So this is our Wednesday offering that we give to all of you. The most common person you'll see in this seat is the producer of Heal documentary, Adam Schomer. He is unavailable this week, so I'm filling in for him. This is about the, fourth or fifth time that I've filled in for him since this all began. Sometimes you'll also see Lexi doing the wonderful sound baths, or Rob Wergen or other experts kind of jump in to different ones. Tonight, I'm going to be guiding you through a meditation that is designed to help you rethink anxiety. And this is one that I am particularly excited about. I've done, aside from my work with Heal, I've been a part of the Heal team for 8 years. I am incredibly grateful to Kelly and Adam and everybody else from the Heal team to have given me the opportunity to be a part of this. It's been so incredible to see how many lives have been touched by this film and continue to be touched by this film. And for those of you who, if you have been living under a rock and haven't seen it yet, it is streaming on Amazon Prime in most regions of the world. So please make the time to do that. And beyond the documentary, Heal is also a book. It's a great companion book to go along with the documentary that takes things even further. And there's a podcast hosted by Kelly Gores, the creator of Heal and the director of the film and the author of the book. So that podcast is also available. So it just continues to offer so much content to you. So tonight, as I was mentioning, so aside from my work with Heal, I also do quite a bit of work with anxiety. I myself once had very crippling anxiety. So something that really took over my life, so much to the point that I knew I couldn't continue to live my life that way. And I didn't want to continue to be susceptible to it or living in fear of my next anxiety attack. So I guess my question is, we're just kind of waiting for more people to file into this live session. Do you have any issues with anxiety? Is anxiety something that you regularly have to deal with? Give me like a yes, or just let me know via the comments. I'd love to see how many people out there, because almost everybody I talk to these days seems to have anxiety in some capacity within their lives. Some people very extensive or very intense, and other people it's still around, and it's just something they'd rather not have. I already see a couple of yeses come through. I'm not surprised. I'm sure there's going to be plenty more of them coming through. This is awesome to see. Of course, not awesome that you have anxiety, but awesome that you're here tonight, because I'm really excited to share with you this technique that I've developed. It's the main mindset shift that I find to be particularly helpful in breaking people out of this belief that anxiety is something bigger than them, that anxiety is something that just cannot be controlled, that is always going to be there. And for me, this shift, and when I did it for myself, it was monumental. And when I helped other people since, it's been amazing to see the feedback that I get. I'm just reading a couple of these comments are coming in. Anxiety off the charts, a lot of yes, awesome. Okay, so this is, I'm really glad that you're all here, and I'm really excited for you. So again, beyond my work with Heal, I also do have an anxiety course that I built. So I am experienced in terms of dealing with people with anxiety, as well as my own personal experience with it. I'll share more about the course afterwards if you are interested, or feel free to follow me or send me a direct message and I'll connect you with the course. I always give everyone who jumps on these lives the course at the lowest price possible, which is like $10, I think, US. That's usually what the hosting platform lets me do. So it's just something that I like to give to as many people as possible. It's not something that I'm looking to make money off of or anything at this point, just kind of to cover the costs of what it takes to put it out there, that type of thing. But tonight's session is going to be comprehensive in and of itself to help you rethink the way you look at anxiety. So now we got a decent number of people getting. I'm going to give people one more minute. I usually give it about 5 minutes off the top. I'll quickly type in the comments now, just so everyone has it, my handle. So if you wanted to follow me on Instagram or chat after this, if you do enjoy the session, it's at Mark DeNicola, MarkDenicola. That's my handle, just self-named. So you can definitely direct message me there, or just even follow me and I'll reach out to you after this, whatever's easiest for you. Everything centered around anxiety is usually what I love to really assist people with, because I've seen the difference that it can make. And that's why I'm super excited to share what I'm going to share in this particular meditation. So we're about 5 minutes in. Let's dive into it. So before we actually start, I just want to share, because there's going to be a particular piece of breath work that's going to cycle back partway through the meditation itself. So I want us to be familiar with it. If you've ever tuned into any of my guided meditations here on Heal, this is a breathwork technique that I use most common within my meditations because I profoundly believe in its capability. It's something that I actually discovered through one of the experts that's featured in Heal, amazingly enough, to just show how amazingly this all comes together. So it's a very simple breath technique, but it actually communicates with all the cells within your body as well as to your brain, to the intention to relax, the intention to calm and to regain control of your functionality and to not let things operate outside of your conscious attention or perception or whatever the case may be. So this breathing technique, again, we'll come up with it during the meditation as well. So I want to familiarize with it. It's very simple. It starts with a full inhalation through the nose only. So it's a full inhalation through just your nostrils. Then once you feel it's full, you don't need to force it and try and take in as much air as humanly possible. Just until it feels nice and full. A pause for just a split second, and then a slow exhale out from your mouth only, but as if you're breathing out of a straw or with pursed lips. So it would look like this for the exhalation. So again, it's in through the nose, a tiny pause, and then a full, slow, and steady exhalation out through the mouth only, as if you're breathing out of a straw. So we'll actually start there, and we're going to start. You can keep your eyes open at this point, and then I'll let you know when we're going to all close our eyes for the meditative process. If you haven't already, be sure to be comfortable. Whether you're sitting, laying down, anything that feels most comfortable to you. I would just suggest not doing something that'll be easy to fall asleep, because that wouldn't be ideal. But either way, whatever you catch to this is more than helpful and something that I'm genuinely excited to share with you. So we'll start off, again, keeping your eyes open. Let's do a couple cycles of that breath. We'll do 2 to 3 cycles. I know we're all going to do it at a different pace, but let's just do that in through the nose, tiny pause, slow exhale out from the mouth with pursed lips. Let's do a couple cycles of that, and then I'll lead us into the meditation from there. Again, in through the nose, tiny pause, and then a full exhalation out through the mouth with pursed lips. Whether you've already done 3 or whatever the case may be, let's do one more. And as you complete this next one, we'll then close our eyes and I'll lead us into the meditation from there. So as you close your eyes, you can now return to your normal, comfortable breath. And as you do that, I want you to feel the weight of your body sinking into whatever surface you are resting upon. Whether you are sitting or laying down, feel every part of your body that is making contact with another surface. Just relax and truly drop into it. Release all tension. Release all structure that feels it needs to be held in place. Not only in your arms and your legs or your neck where it's commonly found, but even in your eyes and in your jaw. Let everything just fall and relax with ease, with not a cent of tension to be found. With your body now relaxed, I invite you to draw all of your attention to the center of your forehead. The space for many consider to be the home of your third eye. And as you draw your attention to the center of your forehead, I want you to visualize each number as I'm counting down from 10 to 1, flashing 3 times in the center of your forehead. Each number is going to signify a deeper level of connection, from 10 being our conscious and aware state to 1 being our one unified state of the intention of this meditation. 10, see the number 10 flash 3 times in the center of your forehead. 9, 8, 7, see the number 7 flash 3 times in the center of your forehead. 6, 5, 4, 3, see the number 3 flash 3 times in the center of your forehead. 2, 1. And as you see the number 1 flash 3 times in the center of your forehead, you've arrived at level 1, a level of connectivity not only to all others who are participating in this meditation right now at the same time as you, but also all of those who will find and participate in it down the road. Since we are all from a state of oneness connected with one another, and all here with the same loving intention to rethink and help release anxiety from our state of being. With your attention remaining in the center of your forehead, I'd like you to now visualize a beach. There's no right or wrong way to visualize this beach, however you see it. Just see the vastness of this beach with the sand beneath your feet, with a body of water crashing into the shoreline. Whether it's a beach that you recognize or one that you are creating from scratch right now, whether you've been to a beach 1,000,000 times in your life or you've never been before, you're at this beach right now. And this beach is something that you personally are very familiar with, because this beach is representative of your human experience and your mental processing of your human experience. So as you continue to visualize this beach, I invite you to feel yourself taking steps on this beach. Feel the sand between your toes. You could feel the breeze catching part of the body of water and feeling a little bit cool, but also perfectly refreshing. As you walk along this beach with ease and with no specific place to go or place that you need to be by a certain time, you are simply at this beach right now with all of your presence and intention. And as you continue to visualize and move throughout this beach, again, feeling each step that you take, I invite you to now visualize large boulders or rocks scattered throughout the beach. Boulders large enough in some cases that they're unmissable, and they truly do stand out in this otherwise beautifully combed and naturally existing sandy beach. But you see these boulders, all of different sizes, but all noticeable enough. You could see a few of them. You could focus your attention to one in particular that seems to be larger than the others, or you could take in how many there are and see a number of them scattered in different places throughout the beach. Each of these boulders is representative of a time in your life to date where you have dealt with or have been overcome by anxiety. An experience that some would reference as an anxiety attack or a panic attack or just a state of anxiousness that was unwanted, unintentional, and desired to be ended as soon as possible. Each of these boulders represents one of those experiences. And the larger the boulder, the more pronounced or difficult or longer of an experience it was. If you focus on these boulders, even just one of them at this time, it can make anxiety seem quite scary. Here you are on this crystal clear beach, but there are these massive obstructions, seemingly there interfering with our enjoyment of this otherwise calm and beautiful place. As you continue to observe and take notice of these boulders, I invite you to now activate the breathing technique we practiced before. We're going to calm ourselves and bring ourselves into a peaceful state of being as we continue to process and observe these various boulders and rocks that are scattered throughout this beach, representative of each of our experiences with anxiety to date. So as you continue to look at these boulders, I invite you to take 2 or 3 deep cycles of breath in through your nose, a tiny pause, and then a slow and steady exhalation out of your mouth as if you are breathing through a straw. Do this while continuing to visualize the boulders, to change your perception of them, and to further equip yourself to be able to take the next step within this guided process. Again, it's an inhalation through your nose, a tiny pause, and then a slow and steady exhalation out from your mouth with pursed lips. Once you've completed 2 or 3 cycles of that breath, you can once again return to your normal breathing, continuing to observe the various boulders scattered throughout this beach. But now from a state of intention where you've clearly communicated to every single cell in your body the intention to relax and to not be triggered by the sight of these boulders or traumas or however you choose to see them stemming from anxiety. From this more relaxed state, I'd now like to draw your attention again to the sand beneath your feet. Yes, those boulders are still there. Whether you're seeing dozens of them, hundreds of them, or just 1 or 2, they are still there and they are still very prominent. But right now we are focusing your attention on the sand beneath your feet. The sand, aside from being comfortable and warm and safe, the sand represents every single second of your life to date that you have experienced without anxiety present. Each grain of sand may not be anywhere near the size of any of those boulders, but there are thousands upon millions upon billions of grains of sand beneath your feet. Each one doesn't stand out in the same way because it does not trigger us in the same way that anxiety can. But each one is just as real of a moment and just as real a fragment of your human experience that deserves just as much credit and love. And as you crinkle your feet in the sand and feel just how much sand there is, and as you look out to the beach and see just how much more sand there is by comparison to the boulders, no matter how many boulders you've seen or how large some of them may be, there is still always more sand. And if you remind yourself that no matter how prevalent anxiety has been in your life to date or how scary it has been at times, it is still only these boulder-sized chapters of it. There is always a larger body of experience readily available for you to tap into and to build confidence from and to build healthy thoughts and belief systems from that remind you that anxiety is not your entire life. You are not doomed or controlled by anxiety. In fact, the data and the research of your life to date, no matter how prevalent anxiety may be, suggests that you are far more anxiety-free than actually activated by anxiety, if you choose to look at it. And through this meditative process, we are choosing to focus on that sand, to respect and to love each of those boulders. Yes, I said love each of those boulders, because even though they may have been difficult or even ugly or scary or whatever the case may be when they were active, they still helped to shape you into who you are today, and they've helped to make you even more capable. And they are still vastly, vastly, vastly outnumbered by the grains of sand beneath your feet that tell you that life can be lived without anxiety. You are living proof of it, and so much of your life is living proof of you being unriddled by anxiety. And that is something that is always there for you. So sit in this moment, again, with normal breath, or if you feel compelled to, you can do a couple cycles of the breath we did earlier to further cement and relax into this state. But feel the sand beneath you and focus your attention on the sand that exists in between, beneath, and beyond each of the boulders in this beautiful beach of your life. With each breath that you take, you further connect to this fully rooted knowingness that you can and have and will continue to live your life anxiety-free. That anytime anxiety does arise or threatens to arise, you always have this wealth of experience without it to look back upon and to remind yourself of what is possible, rather than get locked into the fear and the seeming realness of the anxiety when it tries to strike. The more you remind yourself of this possibility, the less likely anxiety even is to attempt to arise, knowing that it holds no chance, knowing that it cannot compete with the knowingness that you now hold of just how capable you are and how capable you always have been of living a life without anxiety present. As you continue to stay relaxed, I'm now going to count up from 1 to 10. As I count each number, I invite you to visualize that number flashing 3 times in the center of your forehead. Each number is going to signify a disconnection from this meditative process and a reconnection with your physical conscious self. But taking with you the mental shift, the perspective, and the knowingness that you dialed into from this process, allowing you to truly rethink anxiety and readapt the way that you process it and deal with it moving forward when it tries to arise. 1, see the number 1 flash 3 times in the center of your forehead. 2, 3, 4, 5, see the number 5 flash 3 times in the center of your forehead. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And as you see the number 10 flash 3 times in the center of your forehead, you can slowly open your eyes and bring yourself back consciously to this Instagram live session. I will remain with you for a few minutes just to kind of hear your experience with it, tell you a little bit more about what's upcoming with Heal, as well as remind you of how you can connect with me. So first, I'd love to hear, as you kind of slowly bring yourself back, whether or not you enjoyed this experience, whether or not you felt like this was helpful. I know for a lot of people, myself included, it's proven very helpful in the past, so I'm truly hoping it was the same for you. I received that one. That was wonderful. Thank you, Lindsay. That's amazing to hear. Abby, thank you so much. Thank you all. I'm so happy to hear that. Again, my name is Mark DeNicola. I'm part of the Heal team. Aside from my amazing work with Heal, which I'm so grateful to have been doing now for over 8 years, I have created an online course called the Anxiety Toolbox. If any of you are interested in that, this is just the starting point from it. This is a core concept to help people break free from that. It has helped not only myself break free from anxiety. Of course, it still always tries to come up from everyone, but it's designed to give you tools to always have an answer for it and to give you so much to pull from to really equip you to tackle it as well as possible. So if you are interested in that, I'll put my handle in the chat again, just in case you didn't catch it earlier. I'll also spell it out for you. It's Mark, M-A-R-K, DeNicola, D-E-N-I-C-O-L-A. That's how you can connect with me. Feel free to send me a message on Instagram, reach out at any point. I'll happily talk to you about anything related to anxiety, meditation, whatever the case may be. I saw a quick question come in. I just want to address that from Candace. I've never been a good visualizer. I close my eyes and can't see anything. Do you have any recommendations for how to do a meditation like this when I can't visualize? Well, first thing I'd say, Candace, similar to how we dialed into the meditation, the possibility. I say the first thing is to kind of work on destroying that belief that you cannot visualize. Everyone, even if you struggle to visualize in a controlled meditative session where someone's giving you things to kind of visualize on specifically, we all have an imagination, and you are regularly visualizing things subconsciously and consciously in life. So you are capable of visualizing. So I would first stop telling yourself that unnecessary story. Then beyond that, the reason why I started and ended the meditation with the countdown is that I find that that's a really simple way to, the simplest way to work on your visualization skills. So having not only just counting from 1 to 10, but visualizing that number flashing 3 times, however you choose to see it. Some people like to see it as like elevator lights dinging, anything that you can kind of attribute to it or add to it to make it more real and to give your mind more to work with. The more you're going to get that repetition in, and you'll start to really work on that visualization. So it's about eliminating the belief that you can't visualize and then giving yourself this repetition in a very simple form to actually do it. And you should become stronger and stronger at it over time. I saw a couple other questions come in. Let me just scroll up to get to them. I apologize. Okay, so that was that one. Definitely. Okay, so happy to hear that you're going to be sharing that with your mom and son. Thank you. That's amazing to hear. I love touching people even beyond this session. That's wonderful. Can this be done without sitting still or closing your eyes? I would say absolutely. I would obviously never suggest doing it while operating a motor vehicle or doing anything that is in motion. But if even, this could be a walking meditation. This could even just be a repetitive action that you're just doing that's kind of mindless, or you do an autopilot, like let's say washing the dishes or cleaning the floor, something that you just do that you don't need a lot of your conscious attention to be present there with it. You could still do this breathing technique to calm yourself, and you could still visualize yourself at this place. It's almost, I've actually done this before where I've seen myself, and the reason why I brought up the whole cleaning of the floors, so like sometimes when I'm vacuuming my floors at home, I'll see the vastness of the floor and I'll visualize different things there as like these representations of anxiety that have happened in my life. And I'll then focus on the amount of floor that exists beneath me that is representative of all the times when it hasn't been there. So of course you could do this within things, but of course with the disclaimer that you shouldn't do it while ever doing something that could put you in danger. I would never suggest doing any type of meditation or breathwork practice while driving or doing anything that could put you in danger as a result of that. So I hope that helped, Annette. Let me see if there's a couple other questions I think came in. I have hypersensitivity. Wearing a sleep mask while listening to the meditation really helps me. That's wonderful. I love sleep masks. I tend to fall asleep with them. When I do remember to put it on, I tend to take them off at some point during the night. Just always tend to happen. But they can be incredibly helpful, especially if you are someone that struggles with visualization, as someone mentioned before. The sleep mask can really help to darken that space. When you're doing something as simple as visualizing the numbers flashing, there's more of a blank palette for it to kind of visualize it on. So thank you for sharing that, Lindsay. That's wonderful. What else do we have here? Is this good for PTSD? I'm not as experienced when it comes to PTSD treatment, so I never would want to offer myself as an expert in that realm. But I would say that it's probably worth a shot. So if you do find meditation, for example, very helpful for PTSD, this could be one that you just kind of practice and see if it does help in that regard. I wouldn't want to make a promise in that regard, but I would say it's worth a shot. Everything experientially could prove to be really helpful, and kind of being open-minded to it. So that's what I would say on that front. A bunch of others. I love having oils. Essential oils are wonderful. How do we get your program? Susie asked. You can reach out to me. I'll put my name in the comments one more time. You can reach out to me here on Instagram as a direct message, or just connect with me and then I'll reach out to you, whatever's easier for you. But it's Mark, M-A-R-K, DeNicola, D-E-N-I-C-O-L-A, and I will help to get you access to that program. It's all on the platform, Udemy. It's called the Anxiety Toolbox, but I will help you connect with that. Let me see. A couple other questions. Amazing. I love when questions come in. What about observing the thought? Well, that is another cool thing. And another reason why I actually have the countdown in my meditations is that often people can get really distracted and get caught up in different thoughts, and they feel like they've pulled themselves out of a moment. So the countdown is something that can actually bring you back to a really simple thing to reconnect with. Excuse me, sorry about that. The countdown is a really simple thing that can reconnect you back with your intention. So if you're observing the thought with intention, then that's one thing. That's wonderful. Observe from that perspective. But if you're getting lost in thought, something as simple as a countdown or a visualization can help to bring you back to that. Do you have a meditation for body pain? Asked Annette. I don't think that's one I've created so far. I do have a number of meditations on my YouTube channel. Again, if you look it up, it's self-named Mark DeNicola, M-A-R-K-D-N-I-C-O-L-A. There's one for grief. There's a number of them for anxiety because that's definitely my specialty. I've done some for positivity, I can't remember off the top of my head. I've done a number of them for quite a few things. So I would say I don't have one for pain, but that's a great idea. So I will keep that in mind moving forward. Do I have one for insomnia? I do have one that is designed to help with quieting the mind, which typically people do find really helpful to then lead into sleep. So really kind of quieting those thoughts and bringing you to a more peaceful state. I would also say the breathing technique we did multiple times during tonight's meditation can be really helpful when it comes to insomnia, to kind of bring yourself back to that, or the countdown. Anything to just kind of regulate your mind, bring it with intention, or quiet it with intention. Since so much of insomnia, so much of a trouble sleeping, so much of our anxiety triggers from just rampant thoughts and kind of getting all over the place that way. Do you talk about how gut microbiome and parasites also impact anxiety? That is one aspect of it I do not personally touch within my course. The course, when I built it a couple of years ago, that was not really a connection that was being made at the time, but that is worth considering on my part, because I've obviously become quite familiar with the gut microbiome and the role of parasites through my work with Heals and through some of the incredible experts that Kelly's had on the podcast over the years. So that's definitely something to really think about. So thank you for bringing that up. That's something I will look into and potentially add to my course since I'm regularly adding on to it. And so on a quick note, just before I forget, in regards to the Heal podcast, we do have a new episode releasing tomorrow. And the reason why I want to share this with everybody is that this episode is really beautiful for anyone, whether you personally or anyone else that you know is currently faced with a daunting diagnosis. We have a wonderful one by the name of Christy Miller. Kelly has a very candid, open, honest conversation with her. Christy Miller, if you're not familiar with her, is someone who has now been firmly labeled and with intention as a radical remission from not one form of stage 4 cancer, but 2 forms. She's had it both in her breast and in her brain. And this woman is incredible, and she offers such incredible insight for anyone that is dealing with a daunting diagnosis and needs that shift to dial into possibility. She shares how she found that belief and what she did to practically get herself to a point where she could heal. It's a really beautiful story. It's a beautiful episode. So I really recommend you checking out that episode. Again, this is of the Heal podcast. It releases tomorrow with guest Christy Miller, hosted by Kelly Noonan-Gores. We'll be posting about it plenty here on the Heal Instagram page as well if you miss it and forget about it. And I just have a couple more comments, and then we'll end this for tonight. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It's one of my favorite books, so I guess that is a wonderful book that can really be incredibly helpful with helping to create some helpful mental shifts or different ways of looking or processing things. So thank you for sharing that, Ralph. That's a wonderful one. Did I miss any other ones? Lindsay shared that she has gastroparesis. I hope I said that correctly. And IBS, anxiety is a major factor. Yeah, it truly is remarkable how much anxiety can tie into. And that's why, for me, it became something that I became incredibly passionate about, not only finding a remedy for myself, since I did not want to live the rest of my life either in anxiety for prolonged periods of time or in fear of that next anxiety attack. So I really aggressively sought out all potential solutions I could come up with at that time, or I had seen other people do effectively at that time, to see what practically worked for me. And then what I did within the course is I shared the things that I found to be most effective from the onslaught of stuff that's proclaimed to be good for it. So I share what actually worked for me and what also actually worked for others, since I've had the privilege to work with quite a few people since then, both through the course and through other methods and mediums and events and stuff like this. So so anxiety can definitely be a major factor at the core of a lot of things in everybody's life. A couple more questions since they keep coming in. I love answering them since I have some time tonight. Is it normal for meditation to bring up past memories? Meditation, I can find, can really go anywhere. I've had plenty of times where meditation leads to creative thought. I've had plenty of times where meditation leads to a negative path of thoughts that can be really distracting. So of course, I think it could bring up past memories, sometimes in a beautiful way, sometimes in a more challenging way or in a thought-provoking way. I would say if you're meditating with a specific intention and you find that past memory to be really distracting from it, always bring yourself back either to your breath or to a countdown or to drawing your attention to a particular energetic part of your body to just kind of quell that aside and refocus on what's actually your intention at that time. But if it's more of a open-ended meditation where you're open to just kind of receiving information, past memories could be wonderful. It could be pointing out to you something that you want to address or rethink, or it could be allowing you to revisit something for a different way of looking at it, for a lesson to gain from it, whatever the case may be. So I think it really depends on your intention with it. But I've definitely had memories come up as part of meditations, both intentionally and unintentionally. Let me see if anything else came in. Yes, it can happen. Awesome. Okay. I think, perfect pronunciation on gastroparesis. I hope I just said it the same. I don't know if I said it differently before. But again, thank you all for being here tonight. I truly hope you enjoyed this. Again, feel free to reach out to me. Send me a message here on Instagram. Connect with me. I'm happy to answer your questions, give you some more answers beyond here, whatever the case may be. And again, tune in next Wednesday. We offer this every Wednesday here on Heal. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here, for all the wonderful questions, for the wonderful feedback, and I'm so grateful that you've been positively impacted by this guided meditation. Enjoy the rest of your day, and much love to you all.